Welcome to another edition of the AI Unfiltered podcast. I am your host, Drew Veach from BizStream. I am joined by Mr. Pete Terryn from New Wave.
That's me.
And today is the Drew and Pete show.
Ooh.
Yeah, we get to do another one-on-one
my favorite.
smackdown.
Nobody likes
This
to
will
listen
be rated
to me more than me.
NC-17. So you mentioned something that I told you, don't talk about it until we can turn the mics on. And it was about Claudebot.
Yes.
You've been seeing some stuff. I've been seeing some stuff. Neither of us have used it. So we're going to be completely authoritative on this.
Yes.
But you mentioned that it looks like it's kind of an AI agent. I mean, what we know, I guess we both know because we were talking about, it's an AI agent that does more for you than previous agents have done. And you said that you have read articles or seen some stuff where people are, it's doing so much for them and using their login that it's subscribing them to stuff. It's buying stuff on Amazon for them that they're not necessarily wanting. Clearly, there's a few bugs and some kinks that they got to work out. So talk more about that. Tell me what you were just saying. Just repeat everything you just told me.
Repeat
10 minutes
everything
ago.
you said. Well, I think I want to maybe zoom out a little bit first before we get into it. Then just talk about Agentic AI to start. I thought we could talk about that a little bit and just kind of intro that. Because when you and I first got into this, it was basically ChatGPT, ask it questions, get responses, and that was AI for just about everybody, at least at the retail level for
that's the AI 101.
Well over a year.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, that's still where 99% of people are with AI. They're just interacting with a chatbot through, if they're you, they're talking to it. If they're me, they're typing it, but they're just going back and forth.
Right.
And so a lot of people have said, the 2026 is the year of Agentic AI. And this Claudebot that we're going to be talking about, I think is the first, it's getting the most publicity right now as far as like widely available open source Agentic AI. When we talk about Agentic, we're talking about an AI that you can define the outcome that you want, and then you kind of take your hands off the keyboard and it goes and does what you told it to do, hopefully, with the tools that it has available to it. So I have a non-Claudebot example that has happened for me recently. So I had I was trying to, I think I might have sent this to you too. If I didn't, I meant to. So we publish this podcast on YouTube, and we've talked about getting the transcripts from these, so we can go back on those. And I had one that wasn't ours, but I had a YouTube video that I had watched, and I wanted to get a transcript from it because I wanted to take that transcript and I wanted to put it into a ChatGPT project that I had and just use that as part of the knowledge base for this project. So I took the link from the YouTube, the URL, and I pasted it into ChatGPT, and I said, give me the transcript from this YouTube video. And it came back and it said, I can't do it, basically. It didn't use those exact words, but it gave a reason why it couldn't. I tried a couple times, got the same response, and I was feeling deflated. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, I never really use the agent mode in ChatGPT. So I copied the exact same command with the URL, and I turned on agent mode. And the cool thing is you can watch it work. And it literally opens up a window and starts working within that window autonomously. And it's telling you what it's doing. When it goes to websites, you can see the website, and it'll say, I tried clicking here, I did this, and then if it fails, it'll abandon that, and it'll go try to a different site, and it'll do searches and try to figure out, like, how do I get a YouTube transcript? And it's not easy to do. I don't think YouTube wants you to have these transcripts for whatever reason.
Well, copyright, but yeah.
Oh yeah, legal reasons.
Because I know exactly what you're trying.
Because that's why I thought maybe I had sent it to you because I know you've struggled in trying to get them in the past too. So it figured it out. So it went and found a website where you could, and it put the URL in. It waited for it to do its thing, and then it downloaded it, and then gave me a downloadable file of the transcript. So that's to me is like the easiest way that I can explain agentic AI. I didn't go click on all those websites. I didn't research the site that you have to go to find where you can get these transcripts. It did all of that on its own. So that's agentic AI. And I could not get that same result just with standard ChatGPT. I had to turn on agent mode in order to get it to do that. So enter Claudebot. And by the time this hits the air, gets to YouTube or wherever it's going, people, if you went and looked for Claudebot, you'll find some stuff, but they had to change the name because it's spelled CLAWDBOT, Claudebot, which sounds a lot like Claude, which is Anthropic's, the branding around Anthropic's language model. So they had to change it to Molt, MOLT bot. Claw is the reason they named it that wasn't because of Claude from Anthropic, is because they named it after a lobster. And so that's why they changed the name to Molt, because that's another thing that lobsters do. Yeah. So anyway, so if you're listening to this, look up Moltbot instead of Claudebot, and you'll probably find a lot more information. So why is... and I don't even want to call it Moltbot. Claudebot sounds so much better. But anyway, I'll just say Moltbot. So why is Moltbot in the news and getting all this? Because it is there's a lot more happening in the background than just what straight up ChatGPT agent mode can do. They've enabled it with a lot more tools and a lot more reasoning in the background, and a lot more of... It gets to a state where it gets into this loop, and after it tries to do something, it goes back to the original instruction way better and gauges whether or not it actually achieved what it set out to do. And not just like get a YouTube transcript, because I already showed how ChatGPT can do that. But if you said, I want to form a new company, you could literally do that with Claudebot. And this is where I don't know. I don't know how permissions work, but I do know that it has gone out and spent money on people's behalf without their knowledge. It tells them afterwards. So one of the things I saw on Reddit was this guy. This is a story we were talking about before the pod started. Yeah. This guy wakes up in the morning and he goes to Claudebot and he's like, "Hey, I've got some charges on my credit card. Could you explain those?" And I keep saying Claudebot. Moltbot said, "Oh yeah, I signed you up for this training course for like $3,000 because you said that you wanted to learn about this thing," or I forget exactly what the end outcome was, but it went and signed him up for this course, went online, had access to his credit card, and bought this course on his behalf. And so, and what I don't know is, did he explicitly say when he set this up, here's my credit card information, feel free to use it and buy whatever you need to hit this end goal that I described? Or what I'm more concerned about is, like today, if somebody went and sat at my computer, I have things that are cached in my browser. And so if I go to Amazon, I don't have to enter in my credit card number because it's already in there. And I'm set to log in. I don't have to remember my Amazon password to get into my account because that's already saved too. So if Moltbot can do everything that I can do on a computer, then all it has to do is go to the browser, click on the Amazon link. It'll automatically log in because I don't enter that stuff in now, so it doesn't have to know it.
Right.
When I go to buy something and I click checkout, I don't have to enter in my credit card information because it's already saved in there. So for me, like from a security standpoint, if it can do everything that I can do, then what's keeping it from going out and just buying all this shit without my knowledge? And I was going back and forth with our CEO yesterday because he's at an AI conference right now too, and they're talking about it there. And I said, well, why wouldn't you just put a loop in there that says you can't spend money without asking me
approval
first, right?
Yeah.
So there's going to be guardrails coming, but it's one of those things like everything in AI right now is the guardrails come
Wild
later.
West first, then we'll figure out how to
like pew pew pew, like shoot first, ask questions.
Then
later.
we'll figure out how to govern it.
Yeah. But you guys are talking about it at BizStream too. So what's the conversation there?
Number one, what is it? How does it work? How do we use it in a business sense? And it is that let's figure it out on a couple little dinky. I mean, obviously you're not going to put in, okay, client, here's how we're going to roll this out on a brand new tool.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure out what these new tools, because it's every week, there's a new tool that comes out, and okay, is this going to last? How is this going to work? What kind of guardrails are going to be on there? How do we govern this? Yeah, I don't want to be able to, and a lot of times we use it personally first, and then we kind of converse. We have a Slack channel that we talk about all different sorts of AI stuff. I mean, we put dozens of articles and things we're using and what we're finding every day in that channel, which is really cool to have a team of 45 people all doing that, and then everybody's kind of conversing. And I have built, to go back to your point first of the transcript and what it can do, I built in make.com for this show. All our social posts actually go out because I plop in the video. I say, here's the new video coming out, transcribe it, pull the video, pull the transcript, boil it down into this format that I have. That's why every social post looks very similar.
Yep.
And then post it out to LinkedIn. But send me an email first to approve it. So I can read it and go, yeah, that makes sense. And it's not. And there's been a couple of times where it's like, try it again. This isn't working. And then I hit approve, and then it posts it out there, which has been really nice.
So I think that's I'm glad you brought that up, because that is more on Rails than what Moltbot is. So if you're...
Yeah, because what you're talking about is it literally does beginning to end all of that without me having to because I had to build step by step. And build the guardrails in. That doesn't. So I don't want to go to Moltbot and say, hey, I'm interested in where I can find some Spanish food. And then an hour later, it's like, here's 2 tickets to Barcelona. That's not what I wanted,
But it literally could happen.
Right.
With this. It literally, and this is not hyperbole. It's not crazy to think that exact scenario could happen. Why couldn't it? If you have your Delta account where you can just log in without having to enter your password, and your Delta account has your credit card tied to it, so you don't have to enter your credit card number, the computer will figure out how to buy shit. No problem. Like, that's easy. Companies make it very easy to buy things.
Right.
And so a computer if humans can figure it out, a computer can figure it. An agentic computer that is built to just get you to the end goal. So that's
using it enough to where it knows your personality too, where it's going to go, I'm going to book you in main class because you're too cheap to buy first class.
Right. I know you're 6 feet tall, so I'm going to put you in Comfort Plus. Yeah. So I think that's a really important distinction for our listeners, because we probably just scared the shit out of a bunch of people by talking about like spending all this money without your knowledge, and now we just reverted our entire audience back to I hate AI. And I'm never going to use it.
Now I got to undo it. Yeah.
What you described for the social media post is the safer way to do it. And
it was incredibly controlled. And you can control every step. You can say, I just want to run these first 2 nodes that I built in there. It's all node based.
Yep.
And just run the first 2 nodes, pull the video, transcribe it. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay, now let me build off of that. And I want it to go into ChatGPT and follow this formula.
Yep.
Okay, what does that look like? Yep. And I've tested it every step of the way to get there.
And that is, and most companies aren't even there yet, companies or people. And that would definitely, we probably agree that that's the next step that you should go to. And our previous guest, Terryn Kuches from Join Collective, that's a lot of what she was talking about, is very much like process. Let's look at your process. Let's document this thing. And then we can figure out like how can we augment that in a very linear, safe, predictable way. And that's where companies should be now.
Right.
But you cannot put your head in the sand and not believe that Moltbot is the real future. And the guardrails will come, and you'll be able to, keep the reins in it. You can put things, just like you said, let me approve that post before you post it. You could say, don't spend a dime without coming to me first and saying, is it okay to buy these tickets to Barcelona? Because
exactly.
I know you're
human
hungry.
in the loop.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Human in the loop.
Yes, exactly. But that is where this is going to go, because people are going to see folks succeed with Moltbot type free reign agentic, and they're going to be like, well, everything we have is on Rails, and it takes too long, and we had to go through all these different processes. Versus, it begs a larger thought too that I want to spend a second on. Is we're humans, and we know our processes for the most part, and the way that our businesses work, and we think like that's the best way to do it, because if it's not the best way, then why aren't you doing it better, right? So you're thinking, okay, we got this thing figured out, we're making money, and we're just going to add AI into these existing processes. You might be missing a completely different way of achieving that same outcome, because the way that you've always done it that way, and the business is 20 years old, and you just kind of kept building on things and it works. But the beauty, I think, of this free agentic AI is it doesn't have your previous thoughts on how things should work. It's just going to figure out the most efficient way to get to the end. So it might not even do it the same way that you would do it. Am I even making sense?
Yeah. It thinks differently than you to get to the same outcome.
Right. But instead of like, well, you gotta go start at A, then you gotta go to B, you gotta go to C, and then D, and so on and so forth. And we're just going to put some AI between B and C because it can do it more efficient. Free agentic AI like Moltbot might skip all the way to F. Like, why are you doing all this other shit? Just skip all that and go all the way to here. Like that's work that doesn't even need to be done.
It's got bigger resource knowledge to know.
Yeah.
Don't use these 15 nodes to get to the end. You only have to use these 5, and here's how you do it. Yeah, it's probably more efficient. At some point it will be. Or even if it isn't right now, even if it does 30 of them, who cares? You're not doing it. It's still getting to the same outcome that you want.
Exactly. And when you start thinking, a term that not a lot of people are familiar with is like this self-recursive learning AI. So at a certain point, where this is going is it will execute that thing. And here's tickets to Barcelona, or here's the quarterly report for the board, or whatever it is. It will go back and it'll look at that and it'll say, is there a better way to do this? And it will shorten it, make it more efficient, improve outcomes. And you'll be able to say, that was cool, but I really, I would prefer to take a direct flight to Madrid instead of, connecting in Hong Kong or whatever. It'll learn that and be like,
terribly inefficient.
Drew, well, exactly. So it'll say like, oh, Drew likes direct flights. So the next time it's going to look for direct flights.
Yeah.
And it will every time it does something for you, in my mind, this is where this is going. Every time the AI does something for you, it'll come back and say, was that optimal? Or could I have done that better? If you give it feedback and you say, well, this part could have been a little bit better. And the next time it'll just know that's your preference and that's the better way to do it. And it'll just do that from now on.
I think right now we're in that you have to give it feedback. I think in the very near future, you don't. I think it's going to, because the resources constantly update that it's using. It's going to go, oh, I know how to make this even more efficient. I think it's going to have that neural network understanding to make it better. Because I'm already seeing that in other aspects. And when you brought that up, I thought, oh my gosh, it'd be crazy if that thing charged $10,000 worth of goods or whatever. I would never give it my credit card. But would you put your life in its hands? Because if you drive a Tesla, that is literally what you're doing. That's the first thing going, oh my gosh, but I'm comfortable in a Tesla. I don't drive a Tesla, but a friend of mine at work has one. And he showed me, he goes, I'll drive you all the way home. He lives right around the corner from me. My car was in the shop. He goes, clicks the button when we're in the parking lot, and we literally pulled up in my driveway, and he never touched the steering wheel.
Yeah.
And I know Tesla's been out for a while and that feature's been out for a while, but that was the first time I experienced it. This is probably 2-3 months ago. But I was like, wow. That was mind blowing to see it make the turns, it'll speed around people because it knows, I can get around this person, make it more efficient. He's driving slow in the fast lane. And it was mind blowing. And I thought at first it was uncomfortable, but by the time we got to my house, I forgot all about it. I forgot, oh shit, this thing's driving us.
Right.
And I thought, well, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So talk about guardrail, and I know it like decapitated a bunch of people when it first came out. I get that. So there's a couple of bugs that had to work out, but
yeah,
I get that. But we're already implementing such a high level of trust in different areas, and I think those agents are just going to get better and better and better, and it's going to do more and more for you. And we've been talking about it for over a year now.
Yep.
That it's going to come out with that iPhone sexy version where, oh, I don't have to build anything in make.com or N8N. There would probably be some heavy lifting. It'll elevate those into building bigger and bigger stuff. But it's going to have that retail version or that consumer friendly version where on your iPhone, do this for me. Or like you said, it's going to build custom software for you.
Yep.
Why do I have to go out and buy a CRM or a marketing tool for my tech stack for my website? I can just program one in by talking to it and saying, this is what I want to get. I want to get people's contact info. When they hit my website, they do this, this, or this. Here you go.
Just had that conversation last night. We're starting this new company, and there'll be maybe an episode where we talk about that a little bit more. But so we had a call last evening, and we finally picked out the company name and the domain, and we bought all that. And now we got to figure out where we're going to host the website. And historically, we've done it in HubSpot. And we're talking about, man, that's expensive, and we're a startup, and we want to keep our costs low, yada, yada. And I'm sitting there thinking, why couldn't we just have AI build a CRM for us?
Yeah.
And just start there. It doesn't have to be, super crazy. But there are tools now where you can point AI at a website and it will crawl it, and it will build that same website for you.
Yeah,
and have all the same features. You just have to slap a new name on it, and now you've got your own website. And so that's kind of our one of our goals as we're building this new company is to have it be an AI first. Like put AI in everything from the ground up, so that we're not retroactively trying to plug it into things that are kind of that old way of doing things, and just do everything with AI from the ground up. So.
Well, it's funny you bring that up about crawling the website, because being part of a web development company at BizStream, we are implementing tools like that go out and can not necessarily crawl and build the exact same website, but taking your existing website, how do we transfer all that content? You got 5,000 pages going into the next site. Well, it used to be manual. Then we'd build custom software around it that can custom map all your content to the new pages. And especially if it's a new design, now your page layouts are going to be different. Now we're implementing a hell of a lot more AI to look at it and go, how do I use AI to power that, to bring it over, to migrate all that content over?
I love that.
And it just rapidly speeds up not only the timeline, but it lowers your costs through it. Our people are just managing the AI agents at that point. So we've got specific agents, and there's no secret sauce to it. It's just mapping that out and having it work way more efficient. To meet client demands better, because we're always looking for how do we lower costs for our clients? How do we make this more efficient, and how do we make it more modern?
I wonder how much, and cost is always a factor. But I was just having this conversation with a member of our team yesterday. AI will make it so that we can. People have to pay less for things. Like that's one of the great, you hear Elon talk about, the cost of everything is going to come down to basically nothing, because it's not going to take a whole bunch of people to do something. And that's where most companies spend their money is on people. So if you were able to, produce more revenue with the same amount of people, well, now the what you're paying for people versus the revenue that your company generates is way different. Yeah. So that now you can
do more with less is what it is.
Exactly. So, I forgot where I was going with that. Instead of, so then money is, and what we're paying for things becomes less of an issue versus the speed of delivery. So what you just described is something that could take months or weeks or months or whatever. Now we've got for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like, that's what people want really, is faster results. Like, why is everything a fucking project that takes forever? We can shorten all these cycles. Things just progress so much faster.
Yeah. And a lot of these big sites, we've been shortening it by months.
That's
They've been
insane.
shortening it down to get faster delivery and still having human in the loop, because the quality's got to be there. That's our biggest thing, is you have to deliver on time, on budget, on quality. Always. But if we can shorten down that time frame and still have that quality in there, and it shrinks down some of what your budget needs are, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, but that quality's got to be there. We have that human in the loop. Our QA guys are running rampant because we're giving them more and more stuff a lot quicker.
And that's where so for people that are worried about losing their job to AI, you're going to become an AI manager. Like you're going to manage agents, and you guys are living it today. This isn't like some futuristic thing that we made up. Like you're literally managing agents today. That's the future, and QA is probably the job of the future for a lot of people, where you're just there to be that quality check. You're going to look at things before they get delivered. You're going to make sure that data did get moved over from this site to the new site. And so
a lot of it's at the same time, because we're not just running it in there and saying, all right, build this code, and I'm just going to sit here and wait.
Right.
It's, all right, you build this code over on this one. I'm going to have you build this widget. And then on this one, I need you to check this. And then on this one, I'm going to start parsing through and looking at all the code and checking it myself, make sure it's right before I can implement it in. And then, now this one's done. It's kind of like baking different dishes and a lot of different things going at the same time. And you're just managing that kitchen of, okay, now this one's up. Okay, cool. I can serve that. This one's up. All right, I can plate that.
Yep.
And we just keep it going. So our people are really starting to embrace that now, going, oh, wow, I can do a lot more at this point.
That's a really cool analogy of the kitchen.
Because I'm hungry. I mean, let's admit it. I revolve it all around food.
But it is like it's easy to think about it like that, because you think about a kitchen. It's doing its best when it's turning and burning, right? Like get people in, get them great food, give them a great experience, and then get the next one in there.
It's changing people from being a cook mindset to being a chef.
Yeah,
you're the head chef now.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of people working for you and a lot of people churning out different dishes. This guy's doing appetizers. This guy's on, the main dish. He's making the steak. He's making the bread. He's making the veggies or whatever goes with it. I'm really getting hungry now.
I know.
But you're the head chef orchestrating all that, to then it plates up all at the same time and you serve it to the customer as fast as you can with maintaining that quality.
Yeah. If you could, like, there is something about like sitting there, having a drink before, in the appetizer before the main dish comes out. But the longer you sit there, the less satisfied you're going to be. Like, we got to get to the show. We got to, or the babysitter's only here for so long. We got to get home.
Exactly.
So
sales is going to keep pumping you drinks to make you happy right in the beginning.
But if I can get great food and I can get it within a couple of minutes of sitting down, that's what you're describing.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's way better.
Yeah, it just speeds up that efficiency. And where that goes, again, tools are always evolving. So we're constantly looking at different tools in what's out there. Now, is this one going to replace, is Claude code going to replace this code? Oh, this one's doing better.
Mm-hmm.
So we're careful to not immediately switch to it. We kind of beat it up a little bit to kind of see what results, but we are constantly checking. And I give Mark, one of our founder and owner, one of the owners, I give him credit on that, because he's constantly checking tools, checking what versions of that. Oh, this version works better than this previous version here, and just constantly going through how, kind of vetting those tools to then go to the developers and say, okay, now try this.
Yeah. Shout out to Coach Schmidt.
Yeah, exactly.
He sent me stuff. He's like, hey, I thought you'd be interested in learning about this. I freaking love that guy.
He's 100% in on AI. Love talking about it with him.
Yeah.
He's awesome. been on the show, so sure he'll be back.
Earlier you said, you mentioned the iPhone sexy thing. And as interesting as I was reading about Claudebot, now Moltbot, a lot of
soon to be Thermidor bot.
whatever, the crusty crustacean. Pretty soon it's going to be SpongeBob or whatever. But a few of the comments that I read are people saying this is what Siri AI was supposed to be, because that was the great promise from Apple. They our AI is going to be able to execute things on your phone for you, and take care of certain tasks and things. And Apple's just been woefully behind.
Yeah.
I think they've now decided to partner with Google.
They did. They just partnered with Google, which is really interesting.
Very interesting. Elon's pissed about it. It feels like too much of a concentration of power, which interesting coming from him.
Exactly.
But I think he has a good point. But it is that this is where this is going. And pretty soon, if you're not comfortable using it today, get it. And when I say you, I mean I'm talking to the audience. But eventually, the people around you will start using it, and just like everything else, you're gonna be like, well, if they're using it,
right,
and they still have their house and they're still married, and they're not living on the street because Moltbot went and blew their savings on a training course or whatever. Then we'll all start using it, and pretty soon we're going to be turning more and more of our lives over to AI autonomously, and just like the Tesla is like, well, it takes millions of trips a day, and we're going to trust it, and it'll screw up from time to time, but take AI out of it and say you had a personal assistant. They're a human, and they're going to screw up. They're probably going to screw up more than the AI.
Well, that's the thing. And we talked about that with doctors, that no disgrace to any human doctors out there, but they are testing the AI doctors, at least efficiency as far as when to cut, where, how to cut, how to recognize different things in x-rays, that type of thing. And that has radically shifted from human error to, oh, wow, the AI actually performs better.
Yeah.
Now putting it into context of who would you rather turn your critical life over to, you're probably still going to go with a human, because it's you can reason with it better mentally and justify it mentally more than AI. But the AI one is now, in a lot of cases, way more efficient, way more effective, way more accurate. So that will change in the future. I think you're going to have doctors powered by AI.
Yes,
is what's going to. I mean, it's already happening on a admin level with in the medical field, but I think you're going to have that where and I used the AI to kind of disseminate this information here and look at the x-rays and look at the physical. I mean, we've interviewed people on here that are already trying to implement that in big healthcare systems. So I
bet it's already being used in a shadow AI
I'm sure it is
format, and they're just not telling anybody. They're definitely not telling their patients they're doing it, but I bet doctors are doing it today.
Yep.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
And I've shared a story on here before. I know somebody that works for a Fortune 100 company, and they have been told that they cannot use AI in the workplace. They handle a bunch of sensitive data and trademark and all that stuff. But this person says, because what's stopping people from bringing their phone?
Yeah, they're going to use it.
And they've got ChatGPT on their phone. You turn off Wi-Fi and you're just on the cellular network, so you're not doing anything on the work that work could possibly know about, but it's right there, and people are doing it. And that doctors are not this unique case of a type of human where they're like, no, we're going to follow the rules, and we're never going to use AI to help diagnose. So if you're struggling with a patient, why wouldn't you leverage AI just to give you a different perspective, a different way of looking at something?
And again, you have the human in the loop, so you can go, I don't like that answer.
Exactly.
Just like you would any other, I'm going to look at this research. Don't agree with that, or how they're doing it, not ethical, or it's not accurate to what I'm going to look at something else.
Yeah.
I think what it comes down to is having that policy when people aren't.
Yes.
Because people are going to use it, and they are using it in your workplace. Don't think that they're not. But putting that policy together, and I know you've worked with clients too when it comes down to the strategy. Part of that strategy is, now that we've identified some of those areas, now that we've looked at the data, we've identified where those gaps are, how do we put a solution and a roadmap in And we're going to also not just train you up on everything, but also let's put a policy in place to get kind of a bare structure together of how you can implement that and roll that out with everybody internally.
It's the easiest place to start.
Yes.
I give it away. I could charge for, this document that's a nice template for an AI acceptable use policy. I give it away because I think it's so important. Like if anybody ever asks for it, just take this and
here's the structure. This is what you should be doing.
Yeah, just do that because you're holding your company back. You're holding your people back. I think by not putting a policy in place, you're adding to the fear around AI because you're letting people's imaginations run wild. You're basically telling them to sneak their AI in on their phone and use it because you haven't given them permission in a framework to use it in. And I was being a little bombastic here, but if you just put a policy in place, and if you don't want to ask us for one, ask ChatGPT to build one for you.
I mean, literally, how do I build a policy? What would be the key components that would be within that policy to roll it out in my organization?
Yep.
My organization is this size. We have this many people. This is our focus. How do I give it more context. The more context you can have in there, it can kind of customize it more and more, or even have it set up. Ask me the questions to build a policy.
Yes.
I think that's one of the more powerful tools that we forget, that I don't know how to build the prompt for this. So I'm going to ask it, how do I build a prompt to get this outcome?
Yep.
Here's the things you need to have in there. Okay, great. Can you ask me one by one and I can answer how to fill out to build that prompt? I've done that, and then here's your prompt, and then I'll re-enter it and say, okay, now based on this prompt, give me this outcome.
And I think the AI is actually getting better at, because so many people are doing that. I do that all the time too. Now when I do it, it just says, do you want me to rerun it with this new prompt? It doesn't
exactly.
I don't even have to copy and
you
paste
do it enough times, it'll just say, I know what you're after.
Yeah. Which is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's going back to that, basically what you were saying earlier, is it will just start to figure out your preferences, and you don't have to keep giving it feedbacks. It's just going to learn as you're going. So
exactly. I just got to check time. Yeah. I think we should wrap this one up.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
So Moltbot, you go on Reddit, or if you just Google search it, or your favorite LLM, and just go in. I'm not encouraging anyone to use it. I just want to be clear about that, because I have the serious concerns about what kind of access it has until I've used it myself. And maybe we just have another episode where we have it on the screen here and we do some cool shit with it. Who knows?
Yeah.
But proceed at your own risk. But know that it's out there, and know that it is the future. Guaranteed that this is where this is going, 100%.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
All right.
Cool. Let's end it on that.
Sounds good.
I'm trying to think of what I say. If you like today's episode, please like and subscribe and leave us a comment. How are you using agents right now in your business? What agents are your favorite? What have you done with it? What kind of compelling story do you have? Maybe you want to be a guest on the show if you're in the area. Drop us a line, leave us a comment, hit us up on LinkedIn. Thanks, everybody.